Recording in progress.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. As I was contemplating several lessons that God had given me for this week, I essentially couldn't. I just couldn't take my mind uh, off of what I talked about last week. Even all of my prayers for this week have been. I just couldn't get away from transition, making transitions. Because my time with you all is limited, I can't always go into deep depth, when I'm doing a lesson. But in this case, I thought there was more information I could have given you. So I'm going to continue with some of the observations that I didn't have time to convey to you last week. So today's topic is entitled The Mechanisms of Transitioning. Wow. And the mission statement for this week is to recognize that transition is a necessary tool God uses for us to become like Him. Wow. So, what is transition? Now, I gave you the dictionary description last week. I thought that one was really good, that dictionary description. So, I'm going to give you that again. Movement, passage, or change from one position, state, stage, subject, concept, etc., to another change. Goodness, transition. The sensation of being in transition is the perception that you are in motion. You're moving. Something's happening. Um, the the conviction that some modification in your life is happening, but you can't clearly verify it. Mm, 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 mm. Now, I said last week that the word transition was not found in the King James Bible, and I really didn't expect it to be, because the word itself really isn't old enough to be in any original text. But there are other words in the Bible that can correspond to the word transitioning. Words like changing, moving, evolving, converting, shifting. These are all the physical, emotional, and spiritual manifestations of transitioning. Now, from the moment we are born into this world, we're we're placed in constant motion. We start at one place, and by the time our lives are over, we're at a different place. Um, each step forward is always preceded by trust that solid ground is in front of us. Now, this is not spiritual motion only. If you think about it, as children, we go from school to school, playground to playground. We become accustomed to members and family members and friends and we encounter new endeavors. But make no doubt about it, we transition from one thing to another, and we will continue to do this until our days are done. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I remember transitioning from New Jersey to North Carolina. Now, this sounds minimal, just moving from one state to another. But that simple move added so much complication into my life, and not just my life, but my wife and my children, my mother, my family, even my friends and associates. My God, added complication into their lives. I left behind a lucrative occupation for uncertainty, and the adjustments we had to make were tremendous. My goodness. And I'm going to be real honest, 100 with y'all today. It was years being here before I realized, whether our transitioning was productive or not. Because sometimes, sweetheart, it didn't feel like it, right? Right? So changing and moving and evolving and converting and shifting. See, these are the mechanisms, the workings, the instruments involved in transitioning. And I want to take some time to look at these mechanisms individually. All right. Changing. We'll start with that one. King James Bible, Deuteronomy 31:8, and it reads, and the Lord, he it is that doeth go before thee. He will be with thee. He will not fail thee, neither forsake thee. Fear not, neither be dismayed. Changing. God. Walter Hawkins has an award-winning song entitled Change. Goodness. Yeah. Even subtle changes add to complications in a person's life. See, sometimes people transition within situations, like starting or ending a relationship with someone, or relocating from one place to another, changing from one job to another position. It's not in my lesson, but even recalculations in some of our ministries. Changing. All these transitions are inevitable. And what I mean by that is no one can avoid it. Everybody will change from one thing to another. But in God, change is the evidence that you are actually different. Oh my goodness. That some metamorphosis has happened, and your outlook for your future purpose and there's something about you is different. God allows change to prove to us that he doesn't come into our lives and then go away. Goodness. But he is actively planning a way and a process for our lives and our futures. And he does that through showing us that something changed. Goodness. Moving. Let's go to that one next. NRSV Bible, Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6 read, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own insight. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. And it's paths with an S at the end, not just one. Moving. Goodness. Chris Bird has a song, Feel Him Moving. Goodness, feel him moving. For the last 2 weeks or so, I've mentioned being in motion. Now, moving is something that all of us will do. when I look back over my life and see the moves that I've endured, I can't help but thank God for being there with me. No one's life is going to stand in one place. A move will happen. Motion is inevitable. Nothing is going to stop it. So, how do you get by and endure movement? Goodness. That's where your trust in God has to come into position. God. You must trust that God is in your life and it is He that is in control. That part where it says, give him your heart in that scripture that I read, that means give him your intentions. Where it says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. It means with your intentions. Oh my God, your motives. And He doesn't expect us to have all the answers, but His insight, oh my God, His insight is complete. He sees the end of the matter. Oh my goodness. The straight, where it says He'll make your path straight. It's not saying that you won't have any issues, but what it means is God will get you to the place and the proper time where you both want to be. Oh my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Evolving. Let's go to the MSG Bible. I'm going to go to 1 John 3. I'm going to read verses 1, 2, and 3. Remember, this is the MSG Bible. What marvelous love the Father has extended to us. Just look at it. We're called children of God. That's who we really are. But that's also why the world doesn't recognize us or take us seriously, because it has no idea who He is or what He's up to. But friends, that's exactly who we are. Children of God. And that's only the beginning. Who knows how we'll end up, God? What we know is that when Christ is openly revealed, we'll see Him, and in seeing Him, become like Him. All of us look forward to His coming. Stay ready with the glistening purity of Christ's life as a model for your own. Wow. Evolving. Oh my goodness. See, this one took a minute for me, okay? For me. See, and well, we're all God's creation. All of us are God's creation. But the choice here is, do we want to live together with Him? Do all of us want to live together with Him? If we choose not to, God will honor our decision. But if we accept His invitation, He will set us on a path to knowing Him. At our moment of accepting God into your life, we begin to evolve. We start our evolution from being God's creation to being God's child. Oh my goodness, my goodness. John says we are currently in a state, of being that cannot really reside in the same place with God. But it does not yet appear, goodness, what we will be, because we are in an evolving relationship into something permanent with God. We must evolve, and God has committed His efforts to us to one day make us like him. Goodness. But we gotta evolve into it. We're not just it. Oh my goodness. He said it does not yet appear. But when it does, we'll see him as he is and we'll be like him. But not right now. Not right now. Oh my goodness. Converting. Okay. I'm gonna go to the MSG Bible again. I really like this one. I spent a lot of time with this one. MSG Bible, 2 Corinthians, 3rd chapter, verses 16 to 18, and it reads, "Whenever though they turn to face God, as Moses did. God removes the veil and they are face to face. They suddenly recognize that God is a living, personal presence. Goodness. Not a piece of chiseled stone. Oh my God. And when God is personally present, a living spirit, that old constricting legislation is recognized as obsolete. We're free of it, all of us. Nothing between us and God. Oh my goodness. Our faces shining with the brightness of his face. And so we are transfigured, God, much like the Messiah. Our lives gradually becoming brighter and more beautiful as God enters our lives and we become like him. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Converting. Oh my God. My God. You know, this Bible verse here is the Apostle Paul, of course. Oh my goodness. And he is explaining to the people at Corinth Moses's transition. Moses and the people know Moses. They knew, because his story is opened. Moses knew that there was a place where he was commissioned to settle the people of God, but he didn't know where it was or how to get there. When in fact, if you look at him, the most transitioning Moses ever does is within himself. God, he never leaves the desert. Oh my God. As all of us know that. We know that. Okay. But he becomes one of the most recognizable figures in the Bible. The first 5 books of the Bible are attributed to him. He gives information regarding the creation of God's world and the development of his people. And I said this in an earlier lesson a couple of years ago. Moses gives us information regarding what happened before the creation of the world. Goodness, that only God himself could have given him. Oh my God. But if an outsider looked at Moses' life, they would say, that he never completed his transition. And this is something I said last week, and is that, it is very difficult for us to tell when we've begun a transition, when we are in transition, and when we come out of transition. It's just difficult for us to tell. We only know that something has changed, God. And many times it is us who make the metamorphosis into something else. God, not the situation, but it's us. Oh my God. And that's the strange thing about conversion. It is something that we can't force on anybody else. We can't make anybody else do it. Each individual is responsible for themselves. And we need to, or I need, or you need to agree to convert your thought process, your convictions need to adjust. But Paul says, in your conversion, we will make, what we'll do is we'll take God off the pages of the book, and he will become more to us than just a chiseled piece of stone. God will be living and real to us, Paul says, just like he was to Moses. Oh my God. That's God's intention for us. Goodness, that we get to experience him in a very real way. Oh my God. Personally. Oh my God. That we develop an active and a thriving relationship with him instead of some book knowledge of a God that we don't really know anything about. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Paul says you can have that. Shifting is the last one. And I'm going to go to the NRSV Bible, and I'm going to go to Psalms 32:8. And it reads, I will instruct you and teach you the way you should go. I will counsel you with my eye upon you. Oh my goodness. See, now shifting is difficult, I'll be straight. Shifting is difficult because repositioning must accompany shifting. Goodness. The effort here is that God needs you to physically be in a particular place or setting at a specific time. God. This requires us to be willing to step out. God. No sight, no seen promises. God. Taking a leap of faith. Only because God said to do it. Oh my goodness. Even though God will lead you and keep his eye on you, it's still a very tough transition. God. And the intensity of it is that this move, is most of the times the information God gives is only you. Usually God only informs you. No one else has been given the insight to your instructions. God, goodness. When shifting, if you don't keep your eyes on God, it can feel as though you're all alone sometimes. God. Your every move gets questioned by your family, your friends, and your loved ones, your church, whatever, because God's guidance will be to you only. Oh my goodness. And this is because the shift that God requires is only for you and not your entourage. Oh my goodness. Abraham, I told you to go. I didn't tell you to drag anybody else with you. See, now I'm going to close here. Everyone who is in transition, it is vital, it's important that you realize that this is necessary. God wants us to be in loving relationships and healthy living conditions, but he knows that we are not always ready to just step directly into them. I remember, who was that? Joseph. Remember, Joseph was a mess. God had to do a lot of transitioning in him before he could become what he became. So we're not always ready to just step into these things, but God understands and he is patient with us. He doesn't discard us when we're not where we should be, whether it's emotionally, physically or spiritually. He doesn't discard us or throw us away. Instead of giving up on us, God uses transitions. God, to get us where we need to be. But remember, I want you all to remember, changing, moving, evolving, converting, shifting, these are the working mechanisms of transitioning. Be blessed. Be blessed, you all. Continue to transition. It's not going to stop. So continue to transition, but just know that God means it for your good. I will talk to you again.